How are you guys doing? Today is Friday, April 15th, 2022. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I'm going to review yesterday's Elite matchups and performances from Thursday, April 14th, and of course, I'm going to preview everything that's going on today. But without further ado, I'm going to take a quick step back and look at where we are. But we are midway through the fourth month of the year, obviously. We are almost through to the first round of the NBA playoffs, as we are just right ahead of the 8th seed games. There are 18 teams left in the NBA. By the end of today, there will be 16. In the MLB, teams are just starting to get underway. As teams are starting to set themselves up, we are entering about the second week of the MLB season, as the season, of course, is going to go on until October. Taking a look at what's going on with soccer, we are through the quarterfinal round of the 2021-22 Europa League tournament, as the semifinal matchups have been created. And not to mention, we are entering another weekend of a soccer season, as most countries, as the big five nations in Europe are nearing the last month or so of their domestic campaigns. With that said, taking a look at what's going on in the NBA first, we're going to see both 8-seed games. After both 7 seeds have been selected. In the East, it was the Brooklyn Nets after beating the Cavaliers, and in the West, it was the Minnesota Timberwolves after they beat the Clippers. Taking a look at how that led to these matchups being played today at 7:30 on ESPN in Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse in Cleveland, the 8-seed Cleveland Cavaliers are going to host the 9-seed Atlanta Hawks. After the Cavaliers finish with one more win than the Atlanta Hawks on the season, the Cavs would make it to this round after losing to the 7-seed Brooklyn Nets, as they ended up losing to Brooklyn by 7 on Tuesday. And then looking at how the Hawks got here, they were the team that eliminated the 10th seed Charlotte Hornets. The Hornets were the first team eliminated from the play-in this year, after the Hawks beat the Hornets by 29 points on their home floor. So this is going to be a very interesting matchup, as the winner of this game will face off against the 1-seed Miami Heat in the first round. Then at 10 o'clock on TNT in Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles, the 8-seed Los Angeles Clippers are going to host the 9-seed New Orleans Pelicans for a chance to face off against the Phoenix Suns, the team who have the best record in the NBA this season. This comes after the Clippers finished with 6 more wins than the Pelicans. The Clippers would make it to this round after they lost in the 7-seed matchup to the 7-seed Minnesota Timberwolves by 5 points. The New Orleans Pelicans would make it here after they beat the 10-seed San Antonio Spurs by 10 points on their home floor. So this will be a highly anticipated matchup, winner take all. And after today, there will be 2 more teams that have been eliminated right before we have our 16 ready for the bracket to get started. But with that said, after these play-in games are going to be played, the Western Conference first-round games are going to start tomorrow. But that is where we are at this point in the NBA season. Taking a look at what's going on in the MLB, starting off in Tampa Bay, the Tampa Bay Rays would go on to host the Oakland Athletics. The A's would beat the Rays 6-3 after scoring all 6 of their runs from the second through the 5th inning, scoring in every single one of those innings. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Tampa Bay Rays were led out by their starting pitcher Josh Fleming. Fleming would go on to allow 5 runs and 7 hits as he pitched 3.1 innings. He would walk 1 batter as he went on striking 6 in those 3.1 innings before getting pulled in the 4th. With this loss, Josh Fleming is 1-1. In the Rays batting lineup, the only player with more than 1 hit was their second baseman, Brandon Lau. He went 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run as he hit his 3rd home run of the season. On the winning end of this matchup, the Oakland Athletics were led out by their starting pitcher. Their starting pitcher in this matchup was Cole Irvin. He allowed 3 earned runs off of 5 hits in the 6.1 innings he pitched. He would strike out 2 batters before getting pulled in the 7th inning. With this win, he's now 1-1. The save was given to the Athletics closer for the day, Danny Jimenez. He would allow no earned runs in the 9th inning. This would be his very first save of the season. In the A's batting lineup, their designated hitter, Sean Murphy, went 2 for 4 with an RBI. Their shortstop, Elvis Andrus, went 2 for 4 as well. Additionally, their center fielder, Christian Pache, went 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run. With this win, the Oakland Athletics are now 4-3. That is the second best record in the American League West. They've won their last 2 games, and they currently sit half a game behind the division-leading Houston Astros. With this loss, the Tampa Bay Rays are 4-3. They are holding the best record in the AL East alongside the New York Yankees and the Toronto Blue Jays, despite having lost their last 2 games. They sit half a game ahead of the Boston Red Sox, who hold the 4th best record in the division at the moment. Looking at what happened in Chicago, the White Sox would host the Seattle Mariners. The Mariners would end up beating the White Sox 5-1, as the White Sox never got a chance to lead the game. At home, the White Sox were led out by their starting pitcher, Jimmy Lambert. Lambert would allow 2 earned runs off of 2 hits in the 3 innings that he pitched, as he would strike out a batter. With this loss, he's 0-1. In the White Sox batting lineup, their elite shortstop, Tim Anderson, would go 2 for 4. On the winning end of this matchup, the Seattle Mariners were led out by their starting pitcher, Logan Gilbert. Logan Gilbert would go out and allow 1 run off of the 4 hits that he would allow in 5 innings. He would strike out 4 batters in that span, and with this win, he's now 1-0. In the Mariners batting lineup, their shortstop, J.P. Crawford, went 2 for 5. Their right fielder, Jared Kelenic, went 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs on a run, as he hit his very first home run of the season. With this win, the Seattle Mariners are 3-4. They are tied with the Los Angeles Angels for the 3rd best record in the American League West. They are sitting a game and a half behind the division-leading Houston Astros. With this loss, the Chicago White Sox are 4-2. They are tied with the Cleveland Guardians for the best record in the American League Central. They are now sitting a game and a half ahead of the 3rd place Detroit Tigers at the moment. Taking a look at what happened in Milwaukee, the former NL Central champs, Milwaukee Brewers, would host the St. Louis Cardinals, who were the wild card out of that division last year. The Brewers would end up beating the Cardinals 5-1 after scoring 4 of their 5 runs in the first 3 innings. On the losing end of this matchup, the St. Louis Cardinals were led out by their starting pitcher, Adam Wainwright. Adam Wainwright would allow 4 earned runs off of 8 hits in 4.1 innings pitched. He would strike out 7 in that span before getting pulled in the 5th inning, and with this loss, he's now 1-1. In the Cardinals batting lineup, nobody on their team would finish with more than 1 hit, as their second baseman, Tommy Edman, would end up going 1 for 2 with an RBI and a run. He would hit his 2nd home run of the season. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Milwaukee Brewers were led out by their former All-Star Brandon Woodruff. He allowed no earned runs off of 3 hits in the 5 innings that he pitched. He would walk a batter and strike out 2, and with this win, he's now 1-1. In the Brewers batting lineup, their second baseman, Colton Wong, went 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run. Their catcher, Omar Narvaez, went 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run as well. And he would go on to hit his very first home run of the season. With this win, the Milwaukee Brewers are 4-3. That is currently the 3rd best record in the National League Central. They've won their last 3 games. That is the longest active winning streak in the National League, tied with the Los Angeles Dodgers. And they are currently sitting half a game behind the division-leading Chicago Cubs. The only team with a longer active winning streak than Milwaukee is the Cleveland Guardians right now. With this loss, the St. Louis Cardinals are 3-2. That is the 2nd best record in the National League Central. At the moment, they are sitting half a game behind the Chicago Cubs alongside the Milwaukee Brewers, as the Cardinals have 1 win and they have 1 less win and 1 less loss than the Brewers, which gives them that 2nd spot over Milwaukee record-wise. Taking a look at what's going on in Pittsburgh, the Pittsburgh Pirates hosted the Washington Nationals. The Pirates were able to beat the Nats 9-4. The Nats were able to take a 3-1 lead after the first inning, but the Pirates would take the lead in the bottom of the 3rd off of a 2-run home run from Brian Reynolds to tie the game, and then a 2-run double from Kevin Newman. After that, the Washington would score their last run, and Pittsburgh would not look back. On the losing end of this matchup, the Washington Nationals were led out by their starting pitcher, Joan Adon. Adon would allow 6 earned runs off of 9 hits in the 4.2 innings that he pitched. He would walk 3 and strike out 5 before getting pulled in the 5th inning, and with this loss, he's 0-2. In the Nationals batting lineup, their catcher, Keibert Ruiz, would go 2 for 5 with an RBI. Their left fielder, Yadiel Hernandez, would end up going 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Pittsburgh Pirates were led out by their starting pitcher, JT Brubaker. He allowed 4 earned runs off of 5 hits in 4.1 innings pitched. He would walk 4 and strike out 5. The win would go on to their second relief pitcher, Roansy Contreras. He would allow no earned runs off of 1 hit in the 3 innings that he pitched as he walked 1 and struck out 5. With this win, he's now 1-0. In the Pirates batting lineup, their designated hitter, Daniel Vogelbach, went 4 for 6 with 2 RBIs and 3 runs. He will go on to hit his very first home run this season. Their center fielder, Brian Reynolds, went 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs and a run. And then their second baseman in this matchup, Cole Tucker, would end up going 3 for 5. With this win, the Pittsburgh Pirates are now 3-3. That is the 4th best record in the National League Central. They have now won their last 2 games. They sit a full game behind the division-leading Chicago Cubs. With this loss, the Washington Nationals are 3-5. They are tied with the defending champs Atlanta Braves for the 3rd best record in the National League East. They are sitting 2.5 games behind the division-leading New York Mets at the moment. Taking a look at what's going on in Miami, the Miami Marlins would host the Philadelphia Phillies. The Marlins would beat the Phillies 4-3 after the Phillies scored the first run of the game. The Marlins would take the lead after Garrett Cooper would tie the game on a solo home run in the 4th. Joey Wendell's 2-run double would give the Marlins the lead, and they would kind of run away with it. On the losing end of this matchup, the Philadelphia Phillies were led out by their starting pitcher, Kyle Gibson. Kyle Gibson will go on to allow 4 earned runs off of 5 hits in 4.2 innings pitched. He would walk 3 and strike out 6, and with his loss, he's 1-1. In the Phillies batting lineup, their catcher, JT Realmuto, went 4 for 4 with a run. Their shortstop, Didi Gregorius, went 2 for 4. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Miami Marlins were led out by their starting pitcher, Sandy Alcantara. Alcantara would allow 2 earned runs off of 7 hits in the 6.1 innings that he pitched. He would walk a batter and strike out 5, and with this win, he's now 1-0. The save would go to their closer, Anthony Bender. He allowed no earned runs off of 2 hits in the 9 innings that he pitched, and this will be his second save of the year. In the Marlins batting lineup, their center fielder, Jesus Sanchez, would go 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run. With this win, the Miami Marlins are now 2-4. That is still the worst record in the National League East. They are currently sitting 2.5 games behind the division-leading New York Mets at the moment. With this loss, the Philadelphia Phillies are now 3-4. That is the second best record in the National League East. They've now lost their last 3 games. That is the longest active losing streak in the National League, sitting alongside the Cincinnati Reds. Only the Kansas City Royals have a longer losing streak in the MLB right now. The Phillies are sitting 2 full games behind the division-leading New York Mets. Taking a look at what's happening in the Bronx, the New York Yankees hosted the Toronto Blue Jays. The Yankees were able to beat the Blue Jays 3-0 to enter the 3-way tie at the top of the division. The Blue Jays were led out by their starting pitcher, Kevin Gausman. Kevin Gausman would allow 2 earned runs off of the 6 hits he allowed in 5.2 innings. He would strike out 9 batters before getting pulled in the 6th inning, and with this loss, Gausman is 0-1. And in their batting lineup, the only player with more than 1 hit was their catcher, Alejandro Kirk. He went 2 for 3. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown New York Yankees were led out by their starting pitcher, Luis Severino. He allowed no earned runs off of 2 hits in the 5 innings that he pitched. He would walk 2 batters and strike out 6. With this win, he's now 1-0. And the save would end up going to the Yankees closer, Michael King. He allowed no earned runs in the 9th inning as he would strike out a batter. This would be his very first save of the season. In the Yankees batting lineup, their shortstop Isaiah Kiner Falefa will go 3 for 3 with 2 runs. And then their catcher Jose Trevino will go 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs. With this win, the New York Yankees are now 4-3. They are now tied with the Tampa Bay Rays and the Toronto Blue Jays for the best record in the American League East. They are currently sitting half a game ahead of the Boston Red Sox, who are holding the 4th best record in the division. With this loss, the Blue Jays have the same record. They're 4-3, sitting in the same position, sitting half a game ahead of the 4th place Boston Red Sox in the AL East. Taking a look at what happened in Dallas, the Arlington area, the Texas Rangers would host the Los Angeles Angels. The Rangers would beat the Angels 10-5. They would go on to score 4 runs in the second and fourth inning each, as Mike Trout would end up hitting a big home run for the Angels on the other side of it. But Jonah Heim would end up hitting a grand slam for Texas. That would be the big play of the game for them. On the losing end of this matchup, the Los Angeles Angels were led out by their elite starting pitcher, Shohei Ohtani. The reigning American League MVP would allow 6 earned runs off of 6 hits in the 3.2 innings that he pitched. He would strike out 5 batters in those innings as he walked 2. With this loss, Shohei Ohtani is now 0-2 on the 2022 season. In the Angels batting lineup, their goated center fielder Mike Trout would end up going 1-for-4 with an RBI and a run as he walked as well. He would hit his second home run of the season. Their left fielder Brandon Marsh would end up going 2-for-5 with 2 RBIs and a run. Their center fielder Max Stassi went 2-for-5 with 2 RBIs and a run. Stassi would hit his very first home run of the season for LA. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Texas Rangers were led up by their starting pitcher Dane Dunning. Dunning allowed 2 earned runs off of 6 hits in 3.2 innings that he pitched. He would walk 2 batters and strike out 7. The win in this matchup will go to the Rangers' first relief pitcher, John King. He allowed no earned runs in the 1.1 innings that he pitched, as he would finish off the 4th inning and pitch the entire 5th. With this win, King is 1-0. In the Rangers batting lineup, their elite shortstop, Corey Seager, would end up going 2-for-4 with 3 RBIs and a run. He hit his very first home run of the season, and his very first home run in his stint with the Texas Rangers. Their first baseman, Nate Lau, will end up going 2-for-5 with an RBI and a run. With this, in addition to them, the Rangers catcher, Jonah Heim, would end up going 3-for-4 with 5 RBIs and 3 runs, as his second home run of the season was a grand slam. With this win, the Texas Rangers are now 2-4. That is the worst record in the American League West. They are now sitting 2 full games behind the division-leading Houston Astros. With this loss, the Los Angeles Angels are now 3-4. They are tied with the Seattle Mariners for the 3rd best record in the American League West. They are sitting a game and a half behind the division-leading Houston Astros. Taking a look at what happened in Kansas City, the Royals would host the Detroit Tigers. The Tigers would end up beating the Royals 4-2. The score was tied at 2, and then going into the 7th, it would be a RBI single from Victor Reyes to break the lead, and then an additional RBI single from Austin Meadows within that inning to put them up by 2. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Kansas City Royals were led out by their starting pitcher, Zach Greinke. The loss would be attributed to their second relief pitcher, Jake Brent. He allowed 2 earned runs off of 3 hits in .2 innings pitched, as he would get pulled in the middle of the 7th inning. He would end up striking out 2, as those are the 2 outs he recorded, and he would walk 1. With this loss, Jake Brent is 0-2. In the Royals batting lineup, their designated hitter, Hunter Dozier, was the only player on the team with more than 1 hit. He went 3-for-4 with a run. On the winning end of this matchup, the Detroit Tigers were led out by their starting pitcher, Casey Mize. Mize allowed 2 earned runs off of 6 hits in 5 innings. He would strike out 2 batters and walk 2 in that span. The win for the Tigers would go to their first relief pitcher, Joe Jimenez. Jimenez would allow no earned runs off of 1 hit in the 6th inning, and with this win, he's now 1-0. The save would go to the Tigers closer, Gregory Soto. He allowed no earned runs in the 9th inning as he walked a batter and struck 1 out. This would be his 2nd save of the year. In the Tigers batting lineup, their left fielder, Austin Meadows, went 2-for-4 with an RBI. Their future Hall of Fame designated hitter, Miguel Cabrera, went 3-for-4 with a run. With this win, the Detroit Tigers are now 3-4. That is the 3rd best record in the American League Central, as they now sit a game and a half behind the division-leading Chicago White Sox and Cleveland Guardians. With this loss, the Kansas City Royals are now 2-4. They are tied with the Minnesota Twins for the worst record in the American League Central. Right now, they are holding the longest active losing streak in the American League and in the major leagues as a whole, as they won their first 2 games and lost their last 4. They and the Twins are sitting 2 full games behind the division-leading Chicago White Sox and Cleveland Guardians. So taking a look at what's happening in San Diego, the Padres would host the defending champs Atlanta Braves. The Padres would score all 12 of their runs. They beat the Braves 12-1 as the Braves scored the last run of the game in the 9th inning. On the losing end of this matchup, the Atlanta Braves were led out by their starting pitcher, Charlie Morton. Morton would go on to allow 5 earned runs off of 9 hits in the 5 innings that he pitched. He struck out 5 and walked 3 in that 5-inning span. With this loss, he's now 1-1. In this Braves batting lineup, their first baseman, Matt Olson, would go 2 for 4. Their elite second baseman, Ozzie Albies, would go 1 for 4 with an RBI and a run as he hit his second home run of the season. That was the Braves' lone run. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown San Diego Padres were led out by their starting pitcher, Joe Musgrove. Musgrove would allow no earned runs off of 4 hits in the 6.2 innings that he pitched. He would strike out 6 on the day, and with this win, Joe Musgrove is 1-0. In the Padres batting lineup, their elite third baseman, Manny Machado, would go 5 for 6 with 2 RBIs and 4 runs. He would go on to hit 4 singles, and he would hit his very first home run of the season. Their designated hitter, Luke Voit, went 2 for 5 with 3 RBIs and a run. Their first baseman, Eric Hosmer, went 4 for 5 with 2 RBIs and a run. And then additionally, their right fielder, Will Myers, would end up going 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs and a run. And with this win, the San Diego Padres are 5-3. That is currently the 4th best record in the National League West, win percentage wise, because they have a win more and a win less than they have a win more and one more loss than the Rockies, Dodgers, and Giants. They're sitting below them win percentage wise, but they do have the most wins in the National League West. And that is just currently where they sit at the moment. With this loss, the defending champs Atlanta Braves are now 3-5. They've now lost their last 2 games, and they are sitting 2.5 games behind the division-leading New York Mets, alongside the Washington Nationals. Taking a look at what happened in the Mile High City, the Colorado Rockies would host the Chicago Cubs. The Cubs would end up beating the Rockies 5-2 after the Cubs scored their first 3 runs in the first inning. After a Frank Schwindel single, a pickoff error, and it would be a Seiya Suzuki double that would put the Cubs out of reach. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Colorado Rockies were led out by their starting pitcher, Kyle Freeland. He allowed 5 earned runs off of 9 hits in the 5.1 innings that he pitched. He would strike out 1 batter, and he walked 2 in that span, and with this loss, Kyle Freeland is 0-2. In the Rockies batting lineup, their designated hitter, Connor Joe, went 2 for 5. Their elite left fielder, Chris Bryant, went 2 for 5 with a run. And their first baseman, CJ Cron, will go 2 for 5 with an RBI. Additionally, their center fielder, Jonathan Daza, went 2 for 4. On the winning end of this matchup, the Chicago Cubs were led out by their starting pitcher, Justin Steele. Justin Steele would allow 2 earned runs off of 5 hits in the 4.1 innings that he pitched. He would strike out 4 and walk 2 in that span. The win would go to their setup relief pitcher, Keegan Thompson. Thompson would allow no earned runs off of 3 hits in the 3.1 innings that he pitched. He would strike out 1, and with this win, he's now 1-0. The save was given to the Cubs closer, Michael Givens. Givens allowed no earned runs in the 9th inning, and he would go on to allow a hit, and he struck out 2. This would be his very first save of the year. In the Cubs batting lineup, their second baseman, Nick Madrigal, would end up going 2 for 4 with a run. Their shortstop, Jonathan Villar, would go 2 for 4 with a run. And their first baseman, Frank Schwindel, would go 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. Additionally, their catcher, Yan Gomes, would end up going 2 for 4 with a run. With this win, the Chicago Cubs are now 4-2. They're holding the best record in the National League Central. As the only team with a better record than them win percentage-wise is the New York Mets in the National League East in the National League right now. The Cubs are sitting half a game ahead of the second place St. Louis Cardinals and the third place Milwaukee Bucks for right now. And with this loss, the Colorado Rockies are 4-2. They're in a 3-way tie with the LA Dodgers and the San Francisco Giants for the best record in the National League West, win percentage-wise. They are sitting with 1 less win and 1 less loss than the 4th place San Diego Padres. And all 4 of these teams are sitting 2 full games ahead of the last place Arizona Diamondbacks. Last but not least, taking a look at what's going on in Los Angeles, the LA Dodgers would host the Cincinnati Reds. The Dodgers would beat the Reds not 3-0, they beat them 9-3. After the Dodgers scored the first 3 runs of the game, it would take the Reds until the 7th inning to completely tie with them. The Dodgers would go on to score 6 runs in the 8th inning to run away with this win. On the losing end of this matchup, the Cincinnati Reds were led out by their starting pitcher, Luis Cessa. Cessa would allow 3 earned runs off of 5 hits in the 1 inning that he would go on to pitch. The loss would be picked up by the Reds' third relief pitcher, Justin Wilson. Wilson would go on to allow 1 earned run in .2 innings pitched as he would finish out the 7th inning. He would strike out 2 batters, and with his loss, he's 0-1. In the Reds' batting lineup, their second baseman, Jonathan India, the reigning National League Rookie of the Year, would be the only player with more than 1 hit as he went 2 for 3 on the day. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown LA Dodgers were led out by their elite starting pitcher, Walker Buehler. Buehler allowed 2 earned runs off of 5 hits in the 5.2 innings that he pitched. He would strike out 4 batters and walk 3 in that span. The win would go to the Dodgers' second relief pitcher, setup relief pitcher, Blake Trinan. He would allow no earned runs in the 8th inning as he struck out a batter. With this win, he's now 1-1. In the Dodgers batting lineup, their elite right fielder, Mookie Betts, went 2 for 5 with an RBI. Their elite first baseman, Freddie Freeman, the defending champ, went 2 for 5 with 2 runs. Their shortstop, Trey Turner, went 2 for 5 with an RBI and 2 runs, the former National League batting champ. Their catcher, Will Smith, would go 2 for 4 with 4 RBIs and a run as he hit his first home run of the season. Their left fielder, Chris Taylor, went 2 for 4 with a run, and their elite center fielder, Cody Bellinger, went 2 for 3 with a run. With this win, the LA Dodgers are now 4-2. They are tied with the Colorado Rockies and the San Francisco Giants for the best record in the National League West, win percentage-wise. They are holding a 3-game winning streak, the longest active winning streak in the National League West, and they are tied with the Milwaukee Brewers for the longest active winning streak in the National League. Only the Cleveland Guardians have a longer winning streak than the Dodgers right now. With this loss, the Cincinnati Reds are now 2-5. They are currently holding the worst record in the National League Central. They've lost their last 3 games. They are sitting 2.5 games behind the National League Central leading Chicago Cubs. That is what the MLB is looking like following these matchups. Taking a look at what is going on today, because of course today will be Friday. There are going to be no primetime matchup games, but starting off at 1:10 in Citi Field, Chris Bassett and the New York Mets are going to host Zach Davies and the Arizona Diamondbacks. At 2:10 in Fenway Park in Boston, Nick Pivetta and the Boston Red Sox are going to host Joe Ryan and the Minnesota Twins. At 6:35, Mitch Keller and the Pittsburgh Pirates are going to host Eric Fetty and the Washington Nationals. At 6:40 in Lone Depot Park in Miami, Pablo Lopez and the Miami Marlins are going to host Zach Eflin and the Philadelphia Phillies. At 7:05 in Oriole Park, the Jordan Lyles and the Baltimore Orioles are going to host Jordan Montgomery and the New York Yankees. At 7:07, Ross Stripling and the Toronto Blue Jays are going to host Dalton Jeffries and the Oakland Athletics. At 7:10, Zach Plesac and the Cleveland Guardians are going to host Carlos Rodon and the San Francisco Giants. At 7:10 at the same time, Dylan Cease and the Chicago White Sox are going to host Drew Rasmussen and the Tampa Bay Rays. At 8:05, Matt Bush and the Texas Rangers are going to host Reed Detmers and the LA Angels. At 8:15, Brad Keller and the Kansas City Royals are going to host Tarek Skubal and the Detroit Tigers. At 8:10 at the same time, at American Family Field, Freddie Peralta and the Milwaukee Brewers are going to host Miles Michaelis and the St. Louis Cardinals from within their division. At 8:40, German Marquez and the Colorado Rockies, who are one of those 3 teams in the lead for the National League West, are going to host Marcus Stroman and the Cubs, who have the sole lead of the National League Central at the moment. At 9:40, the San Diego Padres are going to host the defending World Series champs Atlanta Braves at Petco Park. Mackenzie Gore is going to start for the Padres and Kyle Wright's going to start for the Braves. At 9:42 in T-Mobile Park, Marco Gonzalez and the Seattle Mariners are going to host Jake Odorizzi and the Houston Astros. And last but not least, at 10:10, Tony Gonsolin and the LA Dodgers are going to host Vladimir Gutierrez and the Cincinnati Reds. Taking a look now at what is going on with soccer, taking a look at what's going on outside of the North American continent. We were in the quarterfinals of the Europa League, as all of the second leg matchups were played yesterday. Looking first at what happened in Italy, RB Leipzig was able to beat Atalanta 2-0 to be the first team to advance to the semifinals. Both their goals will be scored by their young French midfielder Christopher Nkunku. He scored in the 18th minute and he scored in a penalty kick in the 87th minute. This was also the year that he was, like I said, he was called up to the French national team. So, of course, great season all around for him. With this win, I guess I'll continue on with that. Jumping out to Spain, Barcelona fell short to Eintracht Frankfurt 3-2. And because this was a 1-1 aggregate coming in, Eintracht Frankfurt was able to beat Barcelona 3-2, and they won 4-3 on aggregates. Two of their goals will come from Filip Kostic. That he would have the first goal in the game, or the first goal in the game off of a penalty kick. Rafael Borre would score Eintracht Frankfurt's second goal in the 36th minute, and then Filip Kostic would score their 67th minute goal as they would go up 3-0 in the game. Both of Barcelona's goals came in stoppage time in the second half. Their first goal came from Sergio Busquets, their Spanish midfielder, and then their second one came from Memphis Depay, their elite Dutch striker. As with this win, Eintracht Frankfurt will advance to the semifinals as Barcelona will see their international campaign cut short in Europa League in the quarterfinal round. Taking a look at what happened in France, Olympique Lyonnais would host West Ham. West Ham would end up beating Lyon. Coming into this matchup, both teams held a 1-1 draw aggregate. And West Ham would beat Lyon. Their two goals in the first half would come from Craig Dawson and Declan Rice. And then Jared Bowen's second half goal would be what clinched it. West Ham will, of course, advance to the semifinal leg where they will face off against Eintracht Frankfurt. And West Ham will be the first team that hosts. They will be in the next two Thursdays. And then looking at the fourth team that was able to advance past the quarterfinals round of Europa League, Rangers out of Scotland was able to beat Braga out of Portugal. After Braga held a 1-0 aggregate lead coming in, Rangers would beat Braga 3-1 in this game to advance on a 3-2 aggregate. Their first goal will come from James Tavernier in the second minute, and they will get a penalty kick from Tavernier right in the first half to put them up by 1. Braga would see a goal from David Carmo in the second half right before the regular time ended. And then as it went to extra time, it will be Kamar Roof in the 101st minute to put Rangers into the semifinal round. And with this advance, they will face off against RB Leipzig after RB Leipzig beat Atalanta. Those matchups will both be on Thursday. Next Thursday, April 28th, as this upcoming Thursday, of course, is going to be a break. But that is what's going on there. And, of course, congratulations to Rangers for making it through. But that's everything that I have for yesterday. Taking a look at what is going on today as we are getting ready to enter yet another weekend. The big matchup, I guess one big matchup looking into what is going on with France. Monaco, sitting on that 6th spot, is going to face off against Stade Rennais, who is holding the third best record in France. Stade Rennais sits 3 points behind second place Olympique Marseille. A win here would temporarily put them in the lead because they have a serious goal differential over Marseille. But of course they would have to win. Monaco is sitting 2 points behind fourth place Strasbourg. A win here would get them a chance to make it to at least Europa League group stage. But like I said, a must-win opportunity for both teams. And then taking a look at what's going on in Italy, both Milan teams are going to be playing to get a chance at the top of the table. Right now, the top team in Italy is AC Milan. Milan is going to host Genoa at 3 o'clock. Genoa is currently holding the second worst record in all of Italy. Milan sits 2 points over second place Inter. Inter is going to face off against Spezia. They're going to go to Spezia at 1 o'clock today. Spezia is currently holding the 15th best or the 6th worst record in all of Spain. Inter sits alongside Napoli. They played one less game than Napoli, by the way. They sit 2 points behind first place Milan, and they sit 4 points ahead of fourth place Juventus. So this is a must-win game for both these Milan teams. But that's all that I have for you as we navigate through this world of sports one day at a time, as today is Friday, April 15th, 2022. My name is James Sims, and I want to thank everyone for listening to The Elite. I do hope all is well. And like I said, I do want to thank the NBA, the MLB, and the FIFA websites. I do apologize for all the names that I butchered, as I do plan on getting better with them as time goes on. And with that said, I want to thank everyone for listening. I hope all is well. And I will, of course, follow up with the corresponding episodes on the following days. But I will come back tomorrow on Saturday, April 16th, once all of today's exhibitions and matchups are done. So with that said, I want to thank everyone for listening. I hope all is well, and peace out. I'll catch you with more tomorrow.